Sometimes life feels ordinary, just routine, nothing out of the blue. But imagine waking up one day and realizing that your words, just your words, have the power to change reality, not through effort, not through struggle, just by speaking. At first, it doesn't even feel real. You try something small, maybe say, "Let there be light." And suddenly the room lights up without a switch. You test it again. A broken chair fixes itself. A spilled glass unspills. It's like the world is listening, and more than that, it's obeying. That's when it hits you. This isn't imagination. It's not luck. It's real. And with that discovery, a shift begins. Not just in ability, but in mindset. You're no longer just part of the world, you're shaping it. You walk through your neighborhood and start seeing everything differently. The potholes could be gone. That sad old tree on the corner could blossom again. You begin to realize you could fix things, not just for yourself, but for everyone. The possibilities are endless, and yet there's a strange silence in your heart, a voice that keeps whispering, "What if?" At first, it's small, harmless things. You say it happens, no one knows. It's your secret gift. But with each word spoken, each miracle made, something inside starts to change. There's excitement, yes, but also wait, because the power to make anything happen isn't just a gift. It's a responsibility, and yet, in those early moments, it doesn't feel that heavy. It feels like hope, like finally being able to set things right. A lost cat is found, a sick flower blooms, a dark alley lights up at night. It feels like kindness turned into magic. And that's where it begins, not with glory or ambition or pride, but with a simple desire to do good, to make the world just a little bit better. But even as these small changes ripple outward, the question remains, what happens when your words can move mountains, but you're still learning where to place them? That's when you realize miracles are easy. The real challenge is knowing what to do with them. At first, I didn't aim for anything big. No crowds, no attention, just small things. Things that seemed harmless, helpful, like turning cold tea hot again with a whisper, or making the rain stop just long enough to cross the street without getting soaked. It felt good in a quiet way, like finally having a say in how the world treated me, and not just me. When the old man down the lane struggled to carry his groceries, I said, "Let the bags feel light," and suddenly his arms relaxed. When a friend lost her keys for the third time that week, I murmured, "Let them be found," and they appeared right at her feet. Simple, quick fixes, nothing grand, just everyday problems solved. People began to notice not what I could do, but how things always seemed to go right when I was around. I smiled and played it off. Inside, I felt powerful, but more than that, I felt useful. For once, I wasn't watching things fall apart around me. I was fixing them quietly in the background, and with each little miracle, life became smoother. A long line at the bakery shortened with a sentence, a stubborn cough gone with a word. I was careful not to draw too much attention, but it was hard not to enjoy the ease of it all. The world, which had once felt so unpredictable, was now something I could gently guide. I didn't need permission. I didn't need help. I just needed to speak, and everything listened. It made me feel like I had found a shortcut to peace. While others struggled, I floated through problems. While others wished, I simply spoke. But even as I helped here and there, something deeper started stirring inside me. Was I really helping people grow, or was I just patching things temporarily? Was I giving them what they needed, or just what they wanted? The miracles were small, yes, but I began to wonder if the impact was larger than I could see. Because ease, as I was learning, isn't always the same as improvement. And not every shortcut leads where you think it will. At first, it felt like a game, a beautiful, harmless game, but then something shifted. The changes I made started growing bigger, faster. It was like the more I used the power, the more it responded, like it was learning with me. Or maybe through me, I could speak and whole buildings would fix themselves. I could wish and clouds would part, skies would clear, and it was thrilling. I won't lie, to walk through the world and reshape it with just a few words. It felt like nothing could stand in my way. But that's where the cracks began to show, not in the miracles themselves, but in the way they touched people's lives. I made a street brighter at night, thinking I was making it safer. But then the shopkeepers started complaining. The light ruined their signs, kept customers away. I fixed a stream that had dried up for years, brought the water back with a smile, and flooded 2 homes downstream. It wasn't intentional. It never was, but still it happened. People who once looked at me with quiet admiration started to whisper, "How did that happen? Why does everything change when he's around?" And I couldn't explain it. How could I? Even I didn't understand all the rules. I just knew that with every word I spoke, the world responded more quickly, more forcefully. And when something responds without limits, that's when things become unpredictable. I tried to be more careful, to think before I said anything. But even silence started to feel dangerous, because once you've had a taste of that power, not using it becomes harder than using it. The temptation to fix, to smooth over, to make things right, it grows. But every time I acted, the circle of consequences widened. People I never intended to affect began feeling the results of choices they never made. That's when I began to understand. Power doesn't just echo outward. It collides. It mixes with lives, with choices, with things I couldn't possibly control. And no matter how good the intention, once the world starts bending around you, it doesn't always return to shape. I used to think that power was the answer, that if you had the ability to fix everything, you should, that with enough strength, or in my case, words, you could wipe away every mistake, every hardship, every flaw in the world. But what I didn't see then was how power without understanding is just noise. It moves fast, too fast, and it doesn't stop to ask if what it's doing is truly right. The more I changed things, the more I noticed how little I understood about what people really needed. I could give someone a new house, but not the wisdom to keep it. I could bring someone wealth, but not the peace that comes with earning it. And I began to see that no matter how much I did, something was always off, just slightly, but enough to matter. It's like trying to tune a beautiful instrument without knowing how to play. It might sound impressive at first, but soon it all falls out of harmony. That's when it hit me. The problem wasn't just the power. It was the lack of preparation, of maturity, of thought. I was moving things without understanding the weight behind them, fixing problems that weren't mine to fix, creating consequences I never meant to cause. Because the truth is, even the best intentions are not enough when the tools you hold can reshape lives. Power demands more than good ideas. It demands control. It demands wisdom, and wisdom doesn't come easily. It isn't given, it's earned through mistakes, reflection, patience. But when the power is already in your hands, there's no time to earn anything. You're making decisions in real time with real impact on people who never asked for your help. It's a heavy truth that having the ability to do something doesn't always mean you should. That sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is pause, think, ask, wait. Because once something is spoken, once a change is made, it can't always be taken back. I never set out to cause harm. Every word I spoke, every change I made, came from a place of wanting to help. I truly believed I was making things better, solving problems, lifting burdens, giving people what they needed. But I learned something that still stays with me. Even the kindest heart can become dangerous if it acts without caution. Good intentions don't protect you from consequences. They just disguise them. There was a time I thought I was doing someone a favor by changing their life instantly. A man who struggled every day, always one step behind. So I spoke a few words and gave him everything: money, success, admiration. For a moment he shined, but without the journey to earn it, without the experience and failures that build strength, it all began to unravel. He didn't know how to carry the weight of what had been handed to him. He wasn't ready, and I hadn't stopped to ask if he wanted it in the first place. And that's the thing about doing good. It's not always about what you think is right. It's about what others need, what they're ready for, and whether you've truly understood the situation. I had the power to do incredible things, but no guide, no wisdom, no restraint. I was like a child with a matchstick, trying to light candles and accidentally burning down entire rooms. It's not that the intent was wrong, it never was, but intent without thought, without humility, becomes reckless, because when people trust you, or even worse, when they don't know they shouldn't, they become vulnerable to your choices. One word from you meant to help can start a ripple that pulls lives in directions you never imagined. So I started to ask myself, who was I really helping? Was I easing their pain or avoiding my own discomfort at watching them struggle? Was I truly giving or just interfering? That's when I finally saw it. Doing good isn't about stepping in whenever you can. It's about knowing when to step in, how to step in, and sometimes choosing not to step in at all. What makes a story truly unforgettable isn't just what happens in it. It's how it's told, how it makes you feel, and what it leaves behind once the words are over. This one, in particular, does more than just entertain. It teaches, quietly but powerfully. Every sentence, every moment is layered with meaning. On the surface, it's about a man discovering a strange and extraordinary ability. But underneath, it's about the struggle between power and purpose, about how every choice carries a weight, and how even the simplest intentions can spiral into something far greater. From a language perspective, it's a perfect space to explore English in action. The vocabulary isn't just thrown in, it's lived. Words like miracle, consequence, intention, and wisdom aren't explained through definitions. They're felt through experience. You see how these words shape decisions, how they form the tension of the story. You begin to connect not just to the meaning of the words, but to the emotions behind them, and then there's the dialogue. It's not loud or dramatic, it's real. Conversations unfold with a natural rhythm, giving learners a chance to hear how English is actually spoken in moments of curiosity, confusion, or quiet realization. The sentences are thoughtful, not rushed. They breathe, and in those pauses there's space to learn. Not just the language, but the mindset of a speaker. How words carry tone, how silence carries more. But what truly gives the story depth is its moral reflection. It's not preachy, not forceful. It simply shows, through one man's journey, how unchecked power, even when meant for good, can blur the line between helping and harming, and that lesson lingers. It invites you to think, to reflect on your own decisions, your own understanding of what it means to do good. It's a reminder that knowledge without wisdom can be dangerous, and that even in learning a language, you're also learning values, empathy, perspective. That's the beauty of storytelling in English. It's not just grammar or vocabulary, it's growth. It's seeing through someone else's eyes, walking in their thoughts, and coming out the other side changed. Thank you for joining me on this journey through a story that reminds us how powerful words and choices can be. From simple miracles to life-changing consequences, we saw that true wisdom lies not in having power, but in understanding how to use it. Let this story stay with you. not just as language practice, but as a reflection of how we grow through every word we speak,